Hello Sangha. This is Sunday morning yoga. If you haven't met me before, my name's Mark. You might see a little Springer Spaniel called Thompson who comes and joins us from time to time. If you've been doing 31 days of yoga with me, then welcome back. And we're going to be here every Sunday morning. If you've never met me before, then I'm going to give you a very simple definition of yoga, or a simple way of getting your head around yoga. You hear a lot of definitions, a lot of discussions, a lot of debate, a lot of confusion maybe actually, is sometimes the word that my teacher uses around yoga. So for me it's a very simple practice. We move. We have this physical body. That is how we meet the world, through our sensations and through our sense of touch, or vision, or hearing, or sense of smell, or sense of taste. So it's good to use our body and get it fit and healthy. And my teacher's teacher says if we want to get this body healthy, we need to use the body, okay? But he says if you want to get your mind healthy, then we need to use the breath. Okay, so breathing is a major part of the practice. It's sometimes called pranayama. My teachers have been teaching me on that for a long time, and thankfully a lot of the research and science that you hear from some really good writers and some really good podcasters is backing that up now. It's really important how we breathe, okay? And then the third one, which is the really hard one, is yoga has an aspect of it related to our thinking, and how we think and what we think about, and how our minds return to things that we don't always want them to return to. And yoga gives us some tools through our movement, through our breath, through chanting, through mantra, through the physical practice. There's other tools as well, and through the breathing practice, to try and resolve some of that, okay? It's a bit like we're drowning in our thoughts, you know, like we get submerged in our thoughts, and we really want to come out from that and just watch our mind as it takes us down paths, okay? Sometimes it's a good path, you know, sometimes it's creative, but quite often it's paths that we're not super happy about. So let's start. I like to start with us lying on our backs with your knees bent, your feet flat. I kind of call this my tuning in posture. So I kind of see how my body's doing today. I encourage my students to see how their body's doing today. So we'll start lying on our back. I've got a little cushion to sit on. You might want a little cushion. You might want to pause, go get a cushion, get a yoga mat if that's something that you use. I sometimes use them, quite often use them. At home, not so much. Okay, I like space. So bring yourself to rest on your back. Have your feet flat, your knees bent. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. And there's nothing to do here really but notice. Okay, so hopefully you feel physically okay. If you need to change anything, adapt anything, then please change or adapt. Otherwise, slowly breathe in, slowly breathe out. If you can breathe in through your nose, breathe in through your nose. If you can breathe out through your nose, breathe out through your nose. And then place both hands by your sides. And the first movement we're going to make today, this morning, if it's morning for you, okay? Slowly take your arms up over your head on the inhale, and back down on your exhale. And repeat that movement a couple of times. Inhale up and over. Exhale, slowly drifting back down. And one more time. Press your feet against the floor when you finish the last one. Connect to your feet, right? Our feet are kind of like sometimes a bit ignored. So feel the texture that you're standing on. Even if you're wearing socks, even if you're wearing shoes, right? Just feel the texture. Feel the temperature through the soles of your feet. And then start to push your feet against the ground. Let your hips slowly rise. And let your hips slowly come down. Now you might feel, oh, actually I want to change the position of my feet. So you might change them and bring them a little closer, a little further apart, a little wider, and then try again. Try and find more comfort, more steadiness as you come up and down. And then repeat that one last time. And then bring everything together. Okay, one of the definitions you will hear of yoga a lot is that it means union, and for sure that is part of the meaning. So let's bring everything we've done so far. Okay, so moving our arms, moving our legs, inhaling and exhaling. Okay, so inhale, we take our arms up and over, our hips rise. And as we exhale, we're bringing our arms back down, our hips back down. Try that a couple more times, okay? Trying to find lightness in your movement. Trying to find ease in your movement. Trying to find steadiness in your movement. When you finish, bring your feet from the floor, take your hands around your knees and gently rock your hips from side to side. Maybe take your knees in circles. Super nice position for your lower back. Okay. Good. Gently roll from side to side once or twice more. Hear my creaky floor. And then roll out to the side if it feels comfortable for you and come up to a seated position. Let your legs cross. Shuffle your hips a little bit further back. Walk your pelvis back a bit, right? Sometimes when we initially sit, we kind of sit on the cushiony part of our butt, which is kind of nice. But for this, it's kind of nice to walk your hips back and kind of tuck underneath your pelvis, okay? Bring your hands on your knees. And you'll sit a little bit taller. And as you exhale, bring your fingers forward in front of your shins. Take another inhale. And exhale, see how that feels to go a bit further forward, maybe with your hands on the floor, maybe with your elbows on the floor. And lately I've just kind of been moving a bit side to side here, seeing if I can free up my movement here. If your elbows don't come down, it's not important. If you're struggling to get your fingertips down, we stay here or here, okay? But be very considerate of yourself. And when you're ready, slowly lift your elbows, walk your hands back. Take your hands behind, squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift up your chest. Inhale, bring your hands up. Take your palms together and push them all the way up. Maybe move a little bit from side to side here. See, go and feel, like I'm always saying to people I'm more of a suggester than a teacher. Like try this. What's this feel like? Try that. What does that feel like? Good. And then you can release and come down. Keep one hand slightly back and bring the opposite hand forward to your opposite knee and turn here. Gently release that and try the other side. Hello, Thompson. Okay. And one more time either side. Turning and gently turning. Come back towards the center. Let your left hand rest on the floor. Inhale a little bit higher with your right hand. And exhale, bring it over and across. Reaching out through space. Maybe even looking up. Inhale, taking your opposite hand up. And exhale, over and across. One more time either side. Inhale, going tall, lengthening, reaching. Exhale over. Reach a little further, maybe look up. And then try the other side. Inhale, tall, reaching, looking up. And exhale over and looking underneath. Come back to the center and shake off. Get nice and loose, or nice and loose, through your wrists, through your forearms, through your elbows, through your upper arms, through your shoulders, okay? And then let your legs come out a little bit further. Shake them off, tap your knees up and down, see how that feels for you this morning, this evening, whenever you're doing it, okay? And then send your right leg slightly out. Bring your left leg slightly in. You can use your hands to bring it a little bit closer in. If it feels okay for you, sit a bit taller and lean over your bent leg. Now, because your leg is bent and rotated out, it's not so difficult to get down here. Bring yourself up and try the same on the other side, okay? Now, you might want to bend this knee a lot. It's nice to bend your knee. You might take your fingers a bit further forward and then slowly coming back, okay? Try that one more time either side. Gently coming over, one leg, coming up and coming over. Maybe even reaching for your foot and maybe even extending through your leg if it feels okay. Slowly come up, okay? Good. Try that on the other side. So we're going to go super slow. If this is your first time practicing with me and it's very slow and considered, then that's okay. Shake off. And lean over your opposite leg now. See how it feels on that side. Noticing the subtle differences between one side to the other side. Okay, maybe your fingertips are forward. Try that on either side again. It's very nice to keep your practice simple. You notice more, you know, like if you're trying something really complex, there's a lot of moving parts, which is good to do sometimes, but it's good to get the simple parts done first. Come back towards the center. Let's try the first side again. What we need to try this time is just taking your hand on your knee and start to let it slide away. Now it might come to your ankle, it might come to your foot, you might even get hold of your big toe, right? But if you end up like this, yeah, I can get my big toe mark. It's not my first choice, okay? See if you can reach for that or that or that and still stay up, right? So you're kind of like your body is up, your spine is long, rather than your spine being flexed, okay? Bring your opposite hand inside and inhale, draw all the way out. Exhale, slowly let it come back down. Try that twice more. Inhale and exhale. Again. So it's a bit like the movement an archer makes. Maybe even one more time actually. Let's see how we feel this morning. You can do more or less. Good. And then gently release. Make any movements that you now feel necessary for your body. Okay, so you know, sometimes we'll be told, oh, this is the posture we should do after this shape or that shape. But really that's a kind of personal thing, you know, like, I feel like my body needs this, okay? So you make that movement. We'll try that on the other side. Bring your leg out, bring your leg in. Okay. Take your hand on your knee, slide it forward and away. Maybe you reach your ankle, maybe you stay here, right? Maybe you're like, this is enough for me. This is where I can stay upright and I can reach in. I just happen to have like the right proportion of arm length and leg length, okay? So let's reach, inhale all the way out. And exhale slowly back down. Twice more with this. Inhale all the way out. And exhale, coming back to the center. Try that once or twice more. No pain, no pain. No pain, no pain. Good. And then making movements that feel good for you after that. Maybe turning movements, maybe leaning forward movements, maybe leaning back movements. Whatever movements are feeling good for you today. Good. And then come back towards the center, okay? Let's try something just a little bit trickier. So bring your fingers to point towards your hips and then just rock them around, okay? So walk them from side to side, maybe walk them behind, walk them this way, walk them this way. Okay, see how that feels for you. And try and find a position where you feel, this doesn't feel too intense for my hips. And then extend out through your legs. Bend one knee. Push your foot into the floor and lift up both hips. If you find like your wrists don't feel good in this position, then try them in another position, okay? And you can maybe try that again. Bend your other leg, push your hands into the floor and let your hips come up. You can maybe even let your head come slightly back and try and get the toes of your straight leg on the floor. But watch for your cramp in your foot. And then come down, okay? You can do bent legs again. You can do both legs bent, okay? And come up into reverse tabletop and come down, okay? Or you can, if you want to, have both legs straight. But try one or two of those versions again, okay? Maybe you come up into this posture. It's called Parsvattanasana, where your hips come up, your toes come towards the floor, and you lift your shoulders. And then lower your shoulders, lower your hips, okay? Shake off. You can stay up there for a few breaths. You can do... What's really important is that we find a way to practice that's helpful for us, okay? And then come back towards the center and find yourself in a seated position. Maybe your shoulders feel a little like interesting now, so you want to give them a little shrug. You want to maybe move them from side to side and then shake off. So physically, we're done, okay? In terms of movement, right? But what we're going to try and do is find a seated position that's helpful, that makes sense. Now, for some of us, that's sitting on a seat, okay? Like Little Thompson. And for some of us, it's sitting on the floor, but with our backs against the wall. Okay. That's how I always used to sit when I started like the seated practice. I would always have my back against the wall. Now, over the years, it's a bit more comfortable to sit. Let my hands rest somewhere, maybe my palms face down. You can try this, maybe your palms face up. Maybe you want to place your hands on your abdomen. Maybe you want to place your hands over your heart. And maybe you want your hands on your lap, okay? But find a position that symbolizes externally what you want to achieve internally, which is a connection to the stillness that exists within us. So once you find your seated position, maybe you want your eyes closed. Maybe you want your eyes open. But try and find some stillness today where you can focus closer to your breath. Now, for some people, it's quite tricky to focus on your breath. But so maybe you want to add a phrase to that. Slowly breathing in as you inhale. Slowly breathing out as you exhale. So that you're repeating this phrase internally. Slowly breathing in. Slowly breathing out. Trying to focus our minds rather than let our minds disappear. Slowly breathing in, slowly breathing out. And again, slowly breathing in, slowly breathing out. If you have more time to rest in Shavasana or rest in a seated position, take some more time to rest. If this is, you grounded yourself for today, you're ready to take this stillness and peacefulness with you into your day. Start to let your fingers move, your toes move. If you want to take that into your wrists and into your ankles, take it into your wrists and your ankles. If you want to shrug your shoulders, shrug your shoulders. If you want to yawn and take a big sigh out, maybe take your arms wide and give yourself a little bit of a hug. So my teachers, I'll put some links to them below, are A.G. Mohan and Indra Mohan. And Indra says that we should try and cultivate this feeling of stillness that we feel when we practice yoga. And we should try and revisit it in our lives, in our daily lives. So try and hold on to this stillness. Take it with you into today, into your week. Thank you for practicing with us on our first Sunday morning yoga. Maybe it's Monday night you're doing it, it's not really important. But there'll be one of these every Sunday morning from now until eternity. Thank you everybody. Om Shanti.